Howdy y'all, today I'll be going over how to read the Japanese candles for a stock chart. Let's get to it. Right here I'm looking at Tesla, ticker TSLA. It is currently up for today. I'm just zooming in on a random portion of the day which happened to be going down at that part between 7:51 and 8:09. Now, it really doesn't matter what stock you're looking at, what direction it's going. It's just to demonstrate what the candles mean. I have it set for red as down, green as up. That's how most of them are set up. But it does look very confusing for those who have not seen this before or are not acclimated to reading what this means. Right here, red is obviously down. What it is, this candle ended here because that's the bottom part of the red candle, and the top part is where it starts. It can go up to the top of this wick, down to the bottom of here, but it ends here. Now, if we're looking at a green one, the bottom part of the candle is the start. The top part of the candle is the end. The wick that goes through, just like a candle, has a wick, both sides. The highest it got to, the lowest it went to, and obviously it ended here. The red one started at the top of the candle. It went up a little bit at some point within this 1 minute time span between 8 and 8:01 a.m. It went down all the way here to the bottom of this wick and came back up to here, and that's where it ended because it is red. That means it ended here. This green candle is up because I have it set as green. So that means it started right here at the bottom of this candle. See this little transfer? In that split second, it went from down here to here. It went up and down or down and up. It could have gone that same difference a few different times within that 1 minute time span, 8:01 and 8:02 a.m. But it ended right here. It's still above where it started. Now, what I think a lot of folks get confused on is they don't all line up perfectly. As an example, these over here at 8:08 to 8:09 and 8:09 to 8:10. See how this part, the green, it must have started here because it's green, so it ended here. And the red started here because it's red and dropped down here. It ended here. We're not even talking about the wicks at this point, just the candle themselves, where it started and ended, and where this one started and then ended. They line up almost perfectly. And what I think a lot of folks get confused on is when there's something such as these, to where they don't line up perfectly. A stock is always moving. You can't get it perfectly lined up. Here's another good example over here. Any of these on this end. So it started up here. At the end of this 1 minute time span, it ended here. The next minute, it had already started up here, ended down here. By the time it transferred from 5:72 a.m. to, 7:52 a.m. to 7:53 a.m., it already changed a little bit. It dropped some, but this is where this next minute started. This minute ended up here. You can see there's a little bit of a gap. We can possibly zoom in a little bit more. See how there's little bits of gaps. The stock is constantly moving. It's never going to be a perfect bridge all the time. Sometimes yes, a lot of the times no. Right here, pretty much seamless bridge. So the spread was moving nice and evenly. If the spread is a little gappy, you got some spaces, little air bubbles in it, and it's hopping around, it will do this. It is not uncommon by any means for this to happen. So as we keep moving along, here we get back to 8:08, 8:09 to 8:10 this morning for Tesla. You can see how from 1 minute to the next, it ended here and started here. So it's a perfect bridge, but that's not going to happen all the time. Same with down here, almost a perfect bridge, but we have a little gap here. As we get more into the spread, you'll notice how things can go up and down quite quickly, and it's not going to be a perfect bridge. But as long as you remember green is going up, red is down, you'll know where it started and ended in that time span. You could have a candle for a week's time span, or you can have a candle for a day, hours, minutes. It really depends on what your stock chart is showing. But regardless, the candles will all be the same, to where on a green, the bottom end of a candle right here is where it started for that time frame. The top part is where it ended. The wick going up and down is where it went up and down in that time span. It could have been up here 3 different times and down here once, or it could have been down here 10 times and up here once. It really doesn't matter. It just shows that it made this much movement. Because sometimes you could have a squiggly line going up and down. It's not really showing you much. It's more of a hassle to try and read that. It's a lot easier to read these once you get used to it. It is a lot easier to read these Japanese candlesticks. So again, we'll go to this red one over here. This time span, whether it is on the minute chart, but this could be 5 minutes, it could be 10 minutes, half hour, hour, day, week, month, year, 5 years, whatever you're looking at, whatever the candles are symbolizing, it entered that time frame at this level. At some point, it went up here. It does not mean it went straight up and then down and back. It also doesn't mean it went starting here, down, up, and back down. It's just saying that at some point, it did get up to this area. But it's also saying at some point it got down to this area, maybe multiple times, maybe just once. But it ended here because it is red. It is a down candle. You can change the colors of the candles if you prefer. I like having red as down, green as up. It's just normally a more standardized chart that way, but also it makes a lot more sense. I've seen charts where you could have blue is up and orange is down, or brown is down. There's so many different things that can be done. But on a lot of charts, red is down, green is up, as long as it's not customized. And if these are hollow, which we can show in another video, it doesn't make any difference. It's just a different setting, a different preference on the looks of each candle. But regardless, it's going to have this general shape. There will be a rectangle of some sort with a wick going up and down. Now, if there's no wick going up or down, such as this one right here, it started at this price, went down to here at some point, and ended here. But there's no wick going up. Well, that means the stock did not go up above where it started that time frame for this entire time period. Same thing could be with a green candle. So this one right here, if we're looking at it, it started at this point, went up to here at some point, and came back down to here. But it did not drop below where it started because there is no wick extending down. If y'all would like more videos on this, I'll be more than happy to create more videos. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. There'll be more videos coming up about basic beginner stuff like this in the future.